Su Muchen didn't stop his movements. He expertly juggled the cocktail shaker in his hands. Accompanied by the clinking sound of the bar spoon hitting the glass, a pink drink was pushed in front of Song Qiaoyi. Song Qiaoyi took a sip, frowned. Why isn't it alcohol? Song Qiaoyi liked to drink, and although she didn't usually drink much, her mood today was terrible, and she just wanted some alcohol. Your throat isn't better yet. It's not suitable for drinking alcohol. Su Muchen was concerned about her health. Even a stranger remembered to care for her. But what about Lu Yubai? It had been 3 days, and Lu Yubai hadn't even offered her the simplest word of concern or greeting. Now, with Su Muchen's sudden concern, Song Qiaoyi was clearly a little flustered, but her heart felt warm. But soon, Song Qiaoyi realized he hadn't answered her question. Could it be? Su Muchen seemed to read Song Qiaoyi's thoughts, and he continued to answer her earlier question. There are so many people surnamed Su in Yuncheng. Do they all have to be related to the Su family, the richest one? Besides, have you ever seen a Su family member like this? As he spoke, Su Muchen tugged at his bartender's uniform. It made sense, she thought. The Su family was Yuncheng's wealthiest, consistently at the forefront of the top tier, with industry spanning the entire city. Even so, the Su family members had always been mysterious, never appearing in public, usually having their designated representatives participate in various external activities. Those who claimed to have seen a Su family member were few and far between in all of Yuncheng, but she had heard that Lu Yubai seemed to have met someone from the Su family. However, Song Qiaoyi always had a feeling that whenever the Su family was mentioned, Su Muchen seemed to harbor an inexplicable emotion, as if he didn't want to hear anything about them. Lu Yubai only remembered to look for Song Qiaoyi when the dinner banquet was about to begin. Jiang Xinyu was not with him. He must have discreetly arranged for her to be seated. Lu Yubai, having been raised by his mother, had always been somewhat arrogant, looking down on common folk. For instance, at this very moment, Su Muchen, dressed in his bartender's uniform, was completely ignored by him. Lu Yubai forcibly pulled Song Qiaoyi aside, clasped his hands together, and said, Song Qiaoyi, can I ask you for a favor when we eat later? What is it? It's about Xinyu and me. Please don't tell Grandpa today. I'll find a suitable opportunity later to slowly explain it to him. It was about Jiang Xinyu again. Song Qiaoyi didn't directly agree with him, merely leaving him with "we'll see" before heading to her seat. Before the banquet began, Song Qiaoyi had already been arranged by old Master Lu to sit at the main table, between him and Lu Yubai. No matter how much Lu Xiaotian and Jiang Xinyu disliked Song Qiaoyi, they could only obediently follow old Master Lu's arrangements. During the dinner, Lu Yuncheng held Song Qiaoyi's hand and asked kindly, Qiaoyi, are you accustomed to living abroad these past few years? Song Qiaoyi squeezed Lu Yuncheng's hand back, smiling as she replied, Grandpa Lu, please don't worry, I'm very used to it, and everything is fine. Lu Yuncheng gently patted the back of Song Qiaoyi's hand. That's good, that's good. Hearing you say that, your grandpa here can rest assured. By the way, how long do you plan to stay this time, now that you're back in country? I still have some matters to attend to, so I'll be staying for a bit longer this time. Really? Song Qiaoyi nodded. Hearing Song Qiaoyi's words, Lu Yuncheng couldn't suppress his joy, smiling so much that the faint wrinkles at the corners of his eyes became visible. That's wonderful. You must come and see this old man often. And since you'll be back for a while, don't forget to foster your relationship with Ayu. Grandpa is waiting to drink your wedding wine. Jiang Xinyu disliked Song Qiaoyi the most. She was always the first to jump out and protest. Dad, Ayu is still young. What kind of wild talk are you spouting? Listening to Jiang Xinyu's words, Lu Yuncheng immediately dropped a smile, his face darkening. What wild talk? It's only a matter of time for Qiaoyi and Ayu. Turning to Song Qiaoyi, Lu Yuncheng switched back to his amiable expression. Right, Qiaoyi, quickly tell Grandpa how you and Ayu have been lately. Here it comes. Song Qiaoyi knew Lu Yuncheng would ask her this question. A pain shot up from her foot. Lu Yubai had kicked her. Song Qiaoyi knew what it meant. She rolled her eyes at Lu Yubai. Seeing Song Qiaoyi remain silent for a long time, Lu Yuncheng subconsciously assumed Lu Yubai had bullied her and immediately scolded Lu Yubai. You brat, did you bully Qiaoyi? Lu Yubai's face showed a slight tension and he felt wronged. Grandpa, I didn't. If you don't believe me, ask Song Qiaoyi. Qiaoyi, tell Grandpa, did this brat Ayu bully you? Just speak up. Don't be afraid. Grandpa will stand up for you. Recalling what Lu Yubai had said in the restaurant that day, and the sight of him embracing Jiang Xinyu, Song Qiaoyi felt a stab of pain in her heart. But once she spoke out, according to Lu Yuncheng's principles, Lu Yubai would definitely face a family punishment from him when he got home. Thinking this, Song Qiaoyi's heart softened. She still chose to speak up for Lu Yubai. Grandpa Lu, please don't worry, he didn't bully me. Yesterday was my mother's death anniversary, and he was afraid I'd be sad, so he stayed with me all night. The more Song Qiaoyi spoke, the sadder she became. But she still had to suppress her emotions, unable to let Lu Yuncheng see through her. Last night, Lu Yubai was clearly with Jiang Xinyu, but now, to speak up for him, she had to fabricate a lie, claiming he was with her all night. Hearing Song Qiaoyi's words, Lu Yubai, who was eating, quietly let out a sigh of relief, and the expression on his face became much more natural. Lu Yuncheng knew his grandson's character too well, so he asked again, disbelievingly, really? Song Qiaoyi unwillingly nodded. Then Grandpa can rest assured. Lu Yuncheng was very fond of Song Qiaoyi and personally served her some food. Here, eat more, you're too thin. Thank you, Grandpa. Throughout the entire dinner, apart from occasionally responding to Lu Yuncheng's concerns, Song Qiaoyi ate silently the rest of the time. Until the end of the event, Lu Yuncheng had drunk a fair amount of alcohol, and before leaving, he didn't forget to instruct Lu Yubai to take Song Qiaoyi home. Grandpa Lu, please be careful on your way. Lu Yuncheng, Lu Xiaodian, and Jiang Xinyu were driven away by a chauffeur. Song Qiaoyi and Lu Yubai stood at the hotel entrance, watching until Lu Yuncheng's car was no longer in sight. Only then did Lu Yubai dare to bring Jiang Xinyu out to AT close range. Song Qiaoyi finally saw clearly that Jiang Xinyu today was surprisingly wearing a Vichy high-fashion gown. Her nose stung slightly. She fought back tears. Song Qiaoyi had once told Lu Yubai that she loved gowns from that brand, and he had promised to have one custom-made for her. Because of Lu Yubai's single promise, Song Qiaoyi had waited for 5 full years. Now it was on Jiang Xinyu's body. Jiang Xinyu, on the other hand, showed no signs of the same apprehension she displayed last time when she saw Song Qiaoyi tonight. Perhaps it was because she had a bit to drink? Lu Yubai put his arm around the swaying Jiang Xinyu, feeling very pained for her. He said, "Why are you pushing yourself so hard? How could you drink so much?" He looked at Song Qiaoyi, who was standing to the side. "I'll take her back first. Wait for me here. I'll be back soon after settling her in. Then I'll pick you up to go to the new apartment." Song Qiaoyi bit her lower lip tightly. "I'm fine. You should take her back first." Lu Yubai only left a "wait for me" before hastily helping Jiang Xinyu away. Song Qiaoyi didn't know the address of the new apartment, so she could only sit on the sofa in the hotel lobby and wait for Lu Yubai. She fell asleep, unknowingly. When she woke up again, 3 hours had passed. A black men's suit was draped over her. Whose was this? How did it get on her? Looking around, the entire hotel lobby was empty. Song Qiaoyi had no choice but to hand the men's suit to the front desk for safekeeping. The clock on the front desk wall showed 1 in the morning, and Lu Yubai still hadn't appeared. Not even a single message. Song Qiaoyi knew that Lu Yubai was highly unlikely to show up tonight. She smiled, yet there was no warmth in her eyes, and the light in them extinguished in an instant. After a while, Song Qiaoyi softly murmured to herself, "Lu Yubai, do you still remember I'm waiting for you here?" Song Qiaoyi felt utterly lost. She had intended to book a room at the hotel, but the front desk informed her that several tour groups had arrived today, and all the rooms were full. Outside, the first snow of the year had begun to fall. Song Qiaoyi braved the wind and snow, asking at several nearby hotels, but each one ended in failure, being fully booked. Returning to the Kempinski Hotel lobby, Song Qiaoyi's coat was already soaked through by the wind and snow. Her hair was quite wet, and she shivered from the cold. After a while of warming herself, Song Qiaoyi's body finally warmed up. During this time, Song Qiaoyi tried calling Lu Yubai several times, but no one answered. Just as she was about to give up, the call connected. Before she could even speak, Song Qiaoyi heard the sound of a man and a woman panting, and the creaking of a bed coming from the other end of the phone. The call disconnected the next second. Although Song Qiaoyi had already prepared herself, those sounds still pierced her heart like sharp thorns. Song Qiaoyi hugged her knees, weakly curled up on the hotel lobby sofa. Her head began to feel heavy, and her consciousness gradually blurred. Actually, she wasn't without a place to go, but she would rather sleep in the hotel lobby than return to the place that could no longer be called home. "Are you planning to sleep here all night?" Song Qiaoyi looked up at the sound. Su Muchen was standing behind the sofa, looking down at her. Su Muchen, it was him again? Song Qiaoyi quickly sat up, tidied her slightly disheveled clothes, unsure how to explain why she was sleeping on the sofa. For a moment, Song Qiaoyi felt so awkward under Su Muchen's gaze that she couldn't speak. Su Muchen saw through her, but didn't expose her. "All the hotel rooms are full tonight. If you don't mind, you can stay in my room and I'll go somewhere else." Song Qiaoyi quickly waved her hand, indicating refusal. "You don't need to go to such trouble. Someone will come to pick me up later." Planning to wait for another 3 hours? Song Qiaoyi. How did he know that? Song Qiaoyi didn't have time to overthink it. Before she could even speak, the dizzying sensation returned and her consciousness completely blurred. When she regained consciousness, she found herself in the big bed in a hotel room. Su Muchen was not in the room. Song Qiaoyi glanced at the clothes she was wearing. They were the same ones she had on before she lost consciousness, and she breathed a sigh of relief. Awake! Su Muchen suddenly appeared from somewhere, and Song Qiaoyi jumped in fright at his voice. Su Muchen smiled and said, "Such a small and faint-hearted." Then a steaming bowl of millet porridge was pushed in front of Song Qiaoyi. Here, your stomach isn't good. Eat the millet porridge while it's hot. Song Qiaoyi, thank you. Song Qiaoyi's stomach indeed wasn't good. But how did Su Muchen know? She remembered that Lu Yubai also often cooked plain congee for her, but she actually preferred millet porridge and disliked plain congee. Each time, to avoid spoiling his mood, she would force herself to eat it. Song Qiaoyi blew on the millet porridge and asked while eating, "What happened to me just now?" "You fainted from a fever. I carried you up here." No wonder Song Qiaoyi had felt her head so heavy and dizzy just now, as though she had a fever. Wait a minute. What did Su Muchen just say? He carried her up here. Too excited, Song Qiaoyi accidentally scalded herself with the millet porridge she just put in her mouth, constantly sticking out her tongue and blowing air. Song Qiaoyi calmed down and asked again, disbelievingly, "You carried me up?" "Otherwise." Song Qiaoyi lowered her head, the slight redness at the tips of her ears betraying her. "No, nothing, but thank you for helping me twice in a row," Su Muchen retorted. "Then how do you plan to thank me?" As he spoke, accompanied by the click of a lighter, Su Muchen sat on the sofa with his legs crossed, lighting a cigarette. Song Qiaoyi disliked the smell of smoke and subconsciously frowned. Su Muchen noticed. The next second, the cigarette, after only 2 puffs, was stubbed out by him. Song Qiaoyi was looking down and didn't see Su Muchen's action, but she thought about it. She really should thank him properly. Gathering her courage, she looked up. "How about this? You pick a time, and I'll treat you to dinner. 1 meal might not be enough. 2 meals. Not enough. Song Qiaoyi, then you tell me. This man, he wouldn't be making an outrageous demand, would he?" Su Muchen slowly spoke. "It has to be a monthly package." Hearing Su Muchen's words, Song Qiaoyi choked on the millet porridge she had just drunk, coughing several times before she recovered. Song Qiaoyi even suspected what her ears had just heard. Cough, cough, cough. What are you saying? Why are you so nervous?" "No, nothing." Song Qiaoyi turned her face away. Her gaze just happened to fall on the men's suit on the sofa. She recognized it instantly as the one that had been covering her earlier. "That suit is yours?" "Su Muchen, it's mine." Song Qiaoyi then asked, "So you knew I was there from beginning?" Su Muchen nodded. "Thank you, I'll buy you a new suit." How much more embarrassing could it get? Why did Su Muchen always see her in such humiliating situations? "No need. Just wash it clean and return it to me." "Song Qiaoyi, okay." Su Muchen looked at Song Qiaoyi for a few seconds, then suddenly leaned forward, resting one hand on the edge of the table, and reached out. His distinctly jointed index finger hooked a wisp of fine hair near Song Qiaoyi's ear. Su Muchen smiled and asked, "How about it? Have you thought about my proposal for tonight?" Song Qiaoyi's ears were burning hot. She turned her head away, dodging Su Muchen's fingers. She shook her head. Su Muchen was not about to let her go, closing the distance step by step. He asked, "Is it that you haven't made up your mind, or that you simply don't want to?" Song Qiaoyi was very curious. Counting the time 3 years ago, she had only met Su Muchen 3 times. Why would he suddenly propose something like this to her? Song Qiaoyi thought this and asked him directly. Su Muchen answered very seriously, "Because you deserve better." The answer took Song Qiaoyi by surprise. She deserved better. Did she really deserve better? Seeing the dilemma still clearly written on Song Qiaoyi's face, Su Muchen didn't press her. "It's all right. If you haven't decided yet, I can wait for you. It's late. Go take a hot bath and get some rest. I've already drawn the hot water for you." With that, Su Muchen prepared to leave the room. Song Qiaoyi called out to him, feeling a little awkward. "Where are you going? Didn't the hotel say they were fully booked? How about you sleep on the bed tonight, and I'll take the sofa?" Su Muchen refused. "I'm a man. How can I let you, a patient, sleep on the sofa? If you really don't mind, you sleep on the bed tonight, and I'll take the sofa." "I don't mind." Su Muchen teased, agreeing so quickly. Song Qiaoyi's face flushed with shyness, and she hurried into the bathroom. How utterly embarrassing. Song Qiaoyi's quick agreement was something even Su Muchen hadn't anticipated. He let out a soft chuckle, turned, and settled his entire body onto the sofa. Su Muchen waited for a long time, but Song Qiaoyi didn't come out. Feeling concerned, he knocked on the bathroom door. "Are you all right?" No one answered. Su Muchen realized something was wrong. His first instinct was to force open the bathroom door, and sure enough, he saw Song Qiaoyi lying beside the bathtub, having fainted. He felt her forehead, so hot. Su Muchen gently lifted Song Qiaoyi. "Wake up quickly, wake up." Song Qiaoyi vaguely sensed someone calling her, but she couldn't open her eyes. She felt terribly dizzy, as if being tossed by ocean waves. Her heart even seemed to be caught in the spray midair. In her haze, Song Qiaoyi subconsciously reached out and grabbed something, accidentally touching a cool-feeling metal buckle. Su Muchen, kneeling on the floor, his back stiffened slightly. He slowly lowered his gaze and saw Song Qiaoyi had gripped the buckle of his suit trousers. Her fingertips were even resting right on the release mechanism. A little pressure would undo his pants. Song Qiaoyi was completely oblivious. Su Muchen fixed his gaze on her. He pressed his lips together. Then, after a moment, slightly lifted his chin and reached out to tug at the already open collar of his shirt. He was silent for a good while before finally calming down. His lips moved, softly uttering, "She really is a handful of a woman." Su Muchen carried Song Qiaoyi to the bed, pulled the blanket over her, and placed a fever-reducing patch he got from the front desk on her. A moment later, shallow breaths filled the room. Song Qiaoyi was asleep. The young woman on the bed was quietly curled up in the bedding, looking like a little cat in a lazy, deep sleep. Su Muchen stood still for a moment. His tall frame then slowly sat down, his gaze never leaving her face. His distinctly jointed fingers once again involuntarily reached out toward her eyebrows and eyes. He then noticed her brow was furrowed. Was she feeling unwell, or was she having a sad dream? Just as he was pondering this, he suddenly saw her tightly closed cherry lips slightly part, moving as if she was murmuring in her sleep. To hear clearly, Su Muchen leaned closer. Unexpectedly, he was pulled into an unforeseen whirlpool. Her hand shot out without warning, wrapping around his neck, and those two tender lips that had just been murmuring deeply bit his shoulder. The sweet, metallic scent of blood spread through the air, filling his entire sense of smell. Yet the culprit, as if nothing had happened, simply turned over and fell completely back into a deep sleep. Su Muchen, this woman that Su Muchen looked at Song Qiaoyi's sleeping back, wiping the slightly oozing blood on his shoulder. He thought back to the first day he had met her. That day, Su Muchen was actually scouting a location, but when passing the Taekwondo studio, he heard there was a competition going on and went inside out of curiosity. That's where he first saw Song Qiaoyi. She was surrounded by a group of older students, with a girl with a bruised, trembling face hiding behind her. Campus bullying IT was everywhere. Such a small figure, surrounded by a group of big, tall men, yet she was disregarding her own safety to stand up for someone else. He couldn't understand how there could be such a foolish girl. Wasn't she afraid of getting into trouble herself? Later, he saw Song Xiao again at a Taekwondo competition, where she was standing by the ring, desperately cheering for a friend. A 27-year-old female with long black hair, slim build, wearing a woolen coat, jeans, or fashionable clothing. Su Muchen couldn't help but look at her twice. Afterward, he heard that her major was hiring part-time print models. Su Muchen signed up without hesitation and successfully met Song Qiaoyi. Unfortunately, she didn't notice him at the time. Su Muchen stood on the balcony of the hotel suite, lighting a cigarette, holding it between his distinctly jointed fingers, slowly puffing smoke. Saving her that day was no accident. For the past 3 years, he had been quietly following Song Qiaoyi. Upon learning she was preparing to return to China, Su Muchen had started planning early. In fact, that night, he had waited for Song Qiaoyi at the hotel entrance for the entire night. It was just that Su Muchen hadn't expected her to have that kind of relationship with Lu Yubai. The cigarette but was extinguished. The balcony returned to darkness. Su Muchen was perfectly concealed in the dark, his eyes deep and unfathomable. His gaze rested on Song Qiaoyi, and the corners of his mouth turned up into a faint smile. The next day, Song Qiaoyi was woken up by Su Muchen. When she woke up, she only felt her head was still a bit heavy, but she had absolutely no memory of what happened after her bath. Su Muchen had prepared a wide variety of breakfast items for her. After a quick wash-up, the two of them had breakfast together in the hotel room. Song Qiaoyi then prepared to pack up and leave. In the hotel lobby, Su Muchen offered to drive Song Qiaoyi, but she refused. "No, thank you. I've already troubled you enough yesterday. The place I'm going isn't far. I can just take a taxi myself." In reality, she didn't even know where she was going. All right then. Su Muchen was not a person to press the issue. Just then, Su Muchen's phone rang. He glanced at the caller ID, his brows furrowed, and he answered the call, walking aside. Lu Yubai appeared at that exact moment. The two just missed each other. Seeing Song Qiaoyi, Lu Yubai showed no sign of thinking he was wrong. He draped his arm over her shoulder, saying with a grin, "Song Qiaoyi, I'm here. Thanks for speaking up for me in front of Grandpa last night." Song Qiaoyi said flatly, "Don't misunderstand. I wasn't doing it for you. I just didn't want Grandpa to be angry on a good day like yesterday. That's all. Besides..." Song Qiaoyi paused mid-sentence. She took a deep breath. "Besides, last night was the last time. I won't speak up for you in front of Grandpa again." Lu Yubai thought Song Qiaoyi was angry because he hadn't picked her up last night, feeling she was overreacting. "Song Qiaoyi, I just didn't pick you up last night. Do you have to be like this? He just didn't pick her up? Lu Yubai made it sound so trivial. If it hadn't been for Su Muchen's help last night, she really would have ended up sleeping in the hotel lobby. Had Lu Yubai truly given her any consideration? You're with Jiang Xinyu. This is something that has to be told to Grandpa Lu sooner or later. So what's the point of me continuing to cover for you? Well, we still need to find a suitable opportunity, don't we? Lu Yubai's tone was a little like a spoiled child pleading. What if there's never a suitable opportunity? And I'm about to have a boyfriend. Am I still supposed to continue lying for you? About to have a boyfriend? Lu Yubai suddenly became agitated. Who is it? That's none of your business, is it? You're just trying to make me angry, aren't you? How could you possibly have a boyfriend? Hearing Lu Yubai's words, Song Qiaoyi was so hurt she nearly cried. Are you implying that I'm so undesirable that I can't even find a boyfriend? I... I didn't mean it like that. Then what exactly did you mean just now? Lu Yubai was speechless. Indeed, he had never once considered that Song Qiaoyi would have a boyfriend one day. He always had a feeling that even if he never truly wanted Song Qiaoyi, she would always stay right by his side. Forget it. You don't need to explain, and I don't want to hear it. Go back. Just send me the apartment address and password. I'll take a taxi there myself. Lu Yubai actually did as she asked. Song Qiaoyi was so annoyed she laughed. As soon as Lu Yubai left, Su Muchen finished his phone call and returned with a dark expression. What's wrong? Su Muchen shook his head and asked with a smile. Are you starting to worry about me now? Song Qiaoyi. This man, he was quite the narcissist. Su Muchen watched as Song Qiaoyi got into the car. Sitting inside, Song Qiaoyi didn't see that Su Muchen's gaze remained fixed on her. After one terrifying experience, Song Qiaoyi didn't dare to fall asleep in the car anymore. She stayed completely awake the whole time. Her phone rang. IT was a WeChat message from the contact named That Man. Come back to see me this evening. The Song residence, Song Qiaoyi's former home. She had arrived relatively early. The house was empty, with only a few servants, each busy with their own tasks. These servants seemed to act as if they didn't see Song Qiaoyi at all. Not only did they not greet her, but they didn't even lift their heads. Song Qiaoyi was accustomed to this. She knew very well in her heart that she was unwelcome in this family, and had always been dispensable. The person she was supposed to meet wasn't home. So Song Qiaoyi decided to go look at the room her mother had lived in before her death and, while she was at it, retrieve the necklace her mother had left for her. Song Qiaoyi sat alone in the room, her mind filled with memories of her mother. Those were the happiest days of her life. Unfortunately, Song Qiaoyi searched the entire room, but couldn't find her mother's necklace. Song Qiaoyi then went to her former bedroom, only to find that the room had already undergone a complete transformation, bearing no resemblance to how it looked when she lived there. Who are you and why are you in my room? A voice sounded behind Song Qiaoyi. She turned around to see a servant standing behind her. Judging by the uniform, it was a low-ranking servant. The Song family had always maintained a very strict hierarchy. Different ranks came with different treatments. Song Qiaoyi's room had now become a low-ranking servant's room. Was that man trying to tell her that she was even lower than the lowest-ranking servant? Xiaoli, go attend to your duties. Leave this to me. Another familiar voice came from behind a person named Xiaoli. It was Zhang Ma, the Song family's old housekeeper. Yes, Zhang Ma. Xiaoli was extremely respectful and didn't forget to glance at Song Qiaoyi a few more times before leaving, seemingly curious about her. Miss Song, I wonder why you suddenly returned today. I recall Master had given instructions that you are not to return to the Song family without his permission. Zhang Ma was an old hand in the Song family, and she was very well aware of Song Qiaoyi's situation within the household. He called me back today. I just wanted to look at my old room. Zhang Ma extended her hand, blocking Song Qiaoyi's path. I'm sorry, Miss Song, but this bedroom is no longer yours. I'm afraid I can't let you enter, lest something go missing and it becomes difficult to explain. Zhang Ma leaned in and whispered into Song Qiaoyi's ear. Miss Song, even though Master called you back, you know his temper. It's best not to wander around carelessly. Was Zhang Ma kindly reminding her? But then again, it made sense. Since even this room was no longer hers, the things inside must have been disposed of long ago. As for her mother's necklace, the only item her mother left her, it was now highly probable that her irresponsible father had hidden it away. She would have to find a way to get it back another day. The sound of a car parking came from downstairs. From a second-floor window, Song Qiaoyi saw Song Xiao and his family get out of the car and walk in, laughing and chatting. A picture of domestic bliss. This was a wish Song Qiaoyi longed for, yet could never achieve. Song Qiaoyi encountered Song Xiao and his party in the ground floor hall. Upon seeing Song Qiaoyi, the smile on Song Xiao's face instantly froze. Why are you here so early? Given your status, don't let me find out that you've been rummaging around and taking things while we were away. Someone of her status? Just because she was an illegitimate daughter. Did he think her hands were so unclean, so contemptible? Don't be angry, father. I think Sister Qiaoyi came back so early because she missed you so much. She missed you terribly. Song Xiaoxiao looked at Song Qiaoyi and smiled. I'm right, aren't I, Sister Qiaoyi? Song Xiaoxiao was Song Qiaoyi's half-sister. The Song family's only recognized young mistress. And she was just an illegitimate daughter, lower than even the lowest-ranking servant. Song Qiaoyi coolly watched Song Xiaoxiao's hypocritical act. It's none of your business. Hearing Song Qiaoyi speak so rudely to Song Xiaoxiao, Song Xiao flew into a rage. How dare you speak to your sister like that? Apologize to her at once. Sister? Song Qiaoyi scoffed, retorting unceremoniously. You don't even acknowledge me, so I'm not considered part of the Song family. How then could I have a sister? Since we are strangers, I'll speak however I please. Hearing this, Song Xiao grew even angrier. He slammed the table. You. How could I have such an unfilial daughter? You're just like your mother. No matter how Song Xiao belittled her, Song Qiaoyi didn't care. But belittling her mother? Absolutely not. Her mother was Song Qiaoyi's only bottom line. In a fit of anger, Song Qiaoyi blurted out, and I don't have a father as selfish and irresponsible as you. During a low point in his career, Song Xiao met Song Qiaoyi's mother, Yi Cixi. Although Yi Cixi was an orphan, she was highly capable and had helped Song Xiao resolve work crises on multiple occasions. Yi Cixi even helped Song Xiao establish connections with the Meng family, who were in the second-tier Cloud City, and through this, he met the Meng family's only daughter, Meng Qinglan. With Meng Qinglan's help, Song Zhao's career soared. His business flourished, and in just 3 years, he successfully entered the second-tier Cloud City, on par with the Meng family. Now, he had even surpassed the Meng family, becoming the head of the second tier. At the time, Yi Cixi didn't care about status and gave birth to Song Qiaoyi for Song Xiao. Pregnant with her second child, Yi Cixi had thought this would lead to Song Xiao fulfilling his promise and marrying her. Unexpectedly, what she received instead was the wedding invitation of Song Xiao and Meng Qinglan. Overcome with grief, Yi Cixi not only lost the child she was carrying, but also suffered fundamental injuries that render her unable to conceive again. Thus, Song Qiaoyi became Song Zhao's illegitimate daughter. But she didn't blame Yi Cixi. From beginning to end, Song Qiaoyi blamed Song Zhao's ingratitude and abandonment. Song Qiaoyi remembered that Song Xiao, under the pretext of caring for Yi Cixi's health, had forcibly made her move into the Song family residence, effectively placing her under house arrest. Meng Qinglan, who was standing nearby, never liked Song Qiaoyi. Song Qiaoyi, how dare you speak to your father like that? Apologize to him immediately. Forget it, forget it. You want her to apologize. Song Xiao snorted coldly and stated the reason he called her back. In a few days, I'm meeting with old Master Lu to discuss your marriage to Lu Yubai. Just as expected, Song Qiaoyi knew that Song Xiao calling her back never meant anything good. For Song Xiao, forging ties between the Song and Lu families was an entirely beneficial endeavor. Why wouldn't he be happy to do it? But Song Xiao was unaware of the true situation between Song Qiaoyi and Lu Yubai. I won't marry him because Song Qiaoyi didn't have time to explain. Song Xiao sternly interrupted her again. This matter is not up to you. You must marry him. That's an order. Hearing Song Qiaoyi's words, Meng Qinglan and Song Xiaoxiao, standing nearby, exchanged glances as if plotting something. Song Qiaoyi retorted, I am not my mother. I won't obey your every word. Yi Cixi had a people-pleasing personality. Coupled with her overly weak nature, she endured years of bullying and torment from Meng Qinglan while in the Song family. Despite all that, Yi Cixi remained completely obedient and compliant to Song Xiao, only hoping he would spare her a glance. But Song Qiaoyi wouldn't be like that. If you call me back just for this matter, then there's nothing more to discuss. I'm leaving now. Song Qiaoyi's attitude thoroughly infuriated Song Xiao. He rose in anger. Stop right there. You stop right there. Regardless of how Song Xiao roared behind her, Song Qiaoyi left without hesitation, not looking back. Song Xiao's brow was tightly furrowed. He sat on the sofa, angrily slapping his thigh. Song Qiaoyi is utterly outrageous. She's going to be the death of me. Darling. Meng Qinglan sat down next to Song Xiao. She poured a cup of hot tea, placed it in front of him, and asked tentatively, Darling, if Song Qiaoyi isn't willing to marry Lu Yubai, why don't you consider Xiao Xiao? Our Xiao Xiao is certainly no worse than Song Qiaoyi. Song Xiao drank his tea while looking at Meng Qinglan, his expression unreadable. Meng Qinglan felt a chill down her spine from his gaze. Darling, what does that look mean? Do you really think our Xiao Xiao is inferior to Song Qiaoyi? What nonsense are you talking about? Song Xiaoxiao also moved closer, hugging Song Zhao's arm and whining, Dad, am I still your good daughter? Unlike with Song Qiaoyi, Song Xiao always presented the image of a loving father to Song Xiaoxiao. He doted on her, saying, "Of course, Xiao Xiao is Dad's good daughter, which is why Dad can't bear for you to suffer even the slightest grievance." Song Xiaoxiao held on to Song Xiao's arm, looking up at him with confusion. "Dad, what do you mean by that? You don't know how much that old man of the Lu family likes Song Qiaoyi. As long as he's in charge of the Lu family, Xiao Xiao would definitely be made to suffer if she went there. Once the Lu family patriarch is gone, Lu Yubai's parents have always disliked Song Qiaoyi, so she won't have an easy life ahead of her." Song Xiaoxiao secretly rejoiced, but still feigned concern for Song Qiaoyi. "Dad, isn't it wrong for us to do this to Sister Qiaoyi?" Meng Qinglan interjected. "The Lu family is already one of the best. What about our Xiao Xiao? She certainly can't marry someone worse than Song Qiaoyi." Song Xiao gently stroked Song Xiaoxiao's hair. "Don't you worry. Our Xiao Xiao will marry into the Su family, the richest family in Yun City." Song Xiaoxiao was shocked. "Dad, is that true? When has Dad ever lied to you?" Meng Qinglan frowned deeply, asking in confusion, "Darling, are you serious? Rumor has it that the Su family has a rule that no one can have any relationship with our Song family. How can our Xiao Xiao?" Song Xiaoxiao also chimed in, "Yes, Dad, I've heard that rumor too." Song Xiao's lips curved upward. He guaranteed confidently, "Don't worry, I have my ways. Xiao Xiao, you just wait for the right time to marry into the Su family with great honor." Leaving the Song family home, Song Qiaoyi curled up on a bench in a nearby park, her eyes hollow, quietly staring at the ground in front of her. After years apart, Song Qiaoyi had still held a shred of hope upon seeing Song Xiao again, that he might harbor a tiny bit of fatherly affection for her. The reality, however, was a harsh slap in the face. Seeing Song Xiao doting on Song Xiaoxiao, Song Qiaoyi couldn't help but feel a surge of envy. From the day she was born, Song Qiaoyi had never enjoyed a single day of Song Xiao's fatherly love. She knew that Song Xiao favored sons over daughters. As a child, Song Qiaoyi had thought that if she was obedient and well-behaved enough, Song Xiao might hug her or at least give her an extra glance. Sadly, she was wrong. When Song Qiaoyi was 5, Song Xiao brought Song Xiaoxiao before her and told Song Qiaoyi that this was her little sister, to get along well with her and to listen to Song Xiaoxiao in all things. That year, little Song Qiaoyi didn't know where this sister came from. She only knew she had to obey her father and behave well. But from then on, Song Qiaoyi noticed that Song Xiao seemed like a changed man. His attitude towards Yisisi was no longer the same. Sometimes when he drank, Song Xiao would strike Yisisi brutally, completely disregarding the fact that she was pregnant with his second child at the time. Later, Song Qiaoyi was sent to live with the Lu family, and Yisisi was confined within the Song house. Song Xiao only allowed them to meet once a month for 1 hour at a time. As Song Qiaoyi grew up, every time she went to see Yisisi, she would see how much Song Xiao doted on Song Xiaoxiao. She realized that Song Xiao didn't dislike her simply because he favored sons. He just genuinely disliked her. Whenever Song Xiao had been drinking or a business deal fell through, he would not only beat and kick Yisisi to vent his anger. When Song Qiaoyi was present, he would even hit her. From then on, Song Qiaoyi stopped trying to please Song Xiao. Song Qiaoyi fell for Yisisi. She promised her that when she returned after her studies, she would bring her mother to live with her, and the two of them would never be separated again. Unfortunately, what she waited for was Yisisi's cold body, pulled from the sea. Her promise to Yisisi could never be fulfilled. Song Qiaoyi was lost so deep in thought that she didn't hear her phone ring until it had been ringing for a long time. IT was a call from the Lu family patriarch, asking her to come over. On the other end of the line, she could vaguely hear Lu Yubai's voice, which sounded like he was being scolded.